Hey there, tarot friends. Thank you so much for being here. I am in my room 5 minutes early, maybe even more than that. um, so excited for you all to be here and excited to tell you about all the things I've realized in the last 24 hours. We have Chris in here making me smile first thing. Hello, hello, Jamie. Definitely dedication. Thank you for being here. Robin, hello, hello. Robin got up early to stop procrastinating and do taxes online. What a headache. Oh, yeah. Did you get that all done? That is a headache. I have someone else take care of that for me because I just can't handle it. So, evidently, oh, Hen, hello, hello. So, I did not realize that today is Mother's Day in the UK, and we are discussing the mother archetype today. So I saw Jackie had posted a picture, like a memory post of her mom yesterday. And I thought, oh, maybe, it was her birthday or something like that, or just a memory that's coming up that she's sharing. So, then I saw that she posted something else like 5 or 6 hours ago about the different types of motherhood. And I thought, it's so strange. It's just like aligning. But I just thought that, again, it was, that Jackie's in a phase of memories with her mom. And then I saw Simon's post about Mother's Day today. So all these things are kind of coming full circle and clicking for me that, that this is what's going on. And when I said that we were going to start, hey there, Ishi. When I said we were going to start this today on March 14th, I did not know. Well, I've been through this whole book before, but I wasn't remembering that the mother was the first card. That makes sense to me. But again, when I mentioned that we were going to be doing this the last couple lives, I didn't know for certain if we were going to be drawing a card or going through an order. And I have since decided that we're going to go through an order. So just again, these things weren't clicking that like the mother was the first card. So anyway, just some interesting things happening with the timing of all this. And at one point, I think I was going to start this on the 7th, and then I was kind of back and forth. And then I decided to do it today, partially because this March 14th would have been my due date for the baby that we lost, in August. I didn't know we lost it until September, but I thought that'll be a good thing for me to do, hang out with my tarot friends to kind of start my day on the 14th. And I'm feeling fine. I tend to just have moments that aren't associated with anything in particular. But I thought that'll be a nice thing to do. We'll have, I'll start this series on the 14th, and that will be great. And then I realized all the Mother's Day things, obviously not here, but still. So there's just all the swirling mysticism around starting this today and working through the mother card. Oh no, what is happening? Hello, Regina. Also, I'm wearing this crazy bright like pink shirt and I feel like really old in it, but I feel like it's a mom shirt. And so that's also why I'm wearing this. I almost took it off. I got dressed and I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh gosh, I don't really like this at all. And I walked out of the closet and Ryan's like, wow, that's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, oh, Lord, okay, I'll just keep it on, but whatever. It feels very matronly to me, but that's okay for today, right? So let's see what's going on with Jamie. Don't mind my computer sounds. Oh, a flare going on in her arm and hand. I'm so sorry. Blah. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay. Hello, Kristen. Okay. And then Kristen posted um, mother type things, cards today. It was just all these things coming together. So before we really get started, let's take a sip. Oh, I just put that lipstick like flat on the cup. But that's fine. I'm loaded up. Okay. So I have decided that we're going through in order because it will make more sense, especially if you're not, oh, thank you, Ishi. Especially if you're not familiar with this, it will make more sense, I think, as we go through and kind of give some context because it's separated. Some of you know that I love suits within an oracle. Oh, I painted this nail. Hold on. Okay. I love suits within an oracle, and this has them. So there are these different sections, and we're going to kind of start with that. Not going to read through the whole intro or anything like that, but just to give you kind of an idea of how cool this deck is. So the first 30 cards are the selves, right? So we have the mother, the father, the starborn, the eternal child, the orphan, the mentor, the poet, so on and so forth, right? Then cards 31 to 50 are the places, the heart, the cave, the mountain, the river, the ocean, etc. Then cards 51 to 70 are the tools. We have the flame, the tear, the riddle, the vow, the vision, the gem, all things like this. And then 71 to 78 are the initiations, and these are Greek, Eros, Agape, Thanatos, all these sort of philosophy, well, initiations is what she calls them, and I think that's beautiful. So that's the smallest group because of how they function throughout the deck. And one of the spreads that I shared in my Tarot Tools Trio was from this book where you take those 4 different piles and separate them and you draw one from each because it gives sort of a structure to your spread and to the reading. Yes, Robin, this is an oracle. And he says, I was wondering if the mother was associated with the Empress. So here's another thing. Because there are 78 cards in this oracle, I also super love that because I love all the associations that you could possibly make. And I don't mean to say that they have to be cemented into anything. I just like that when I'm done with this, I could lay out all the 78 cards and match them to a tarot card just to sort of a creative, spiritual, whatever exercise to do. Not saying that this has to be with this card all the time and this has to be here. I'm sure that those things would change for me, but I love that there are 78 cards and that everyone could have a match. So there are not tarot associations given for the cards here. Hello, Nancy and Candy. So there are not associations given here. I don't even think it mentions anything about doing that, but I just love the fact that there are 78 and I can match them up. I would probably, most days, I would probably put the mother card with Queen Cups. But again, that's up to each of us. So what my plan is for all of us is to go through in order. And today, of course, starting with the mother, and we can just chat about if that certain archetype is prevalent in your life, is completely absent from your life, if you feel that it's something that you're familiar with or not, or a concept that you're familiar with or not. So that's just like usual, a casual kind of discussion about what we think and where we might go with all this. So the other last note before we dive in is that I just have the mother on the title for this, but I did also pull out the Maiden and the Crone card because another really cool thing about this deck is that there are some what Kim Krans calls trifectas. And so a handful of times throughout this book in the margin notes, there will be, so I showed this last time, but so we have margin notes on each side and they are structured. So they're the same kind of thing on each page. Hello, Spirit Healing. Thank you so much. Robin says mother could be strength or justice. Yeah, so that's just kind of what I want to do. Like, they're going to be different for everyone, our experiences with them, and I would just love to chat about that. So I think we will do more than one card each week, just based on those trifectas and probably just having more time. We can talk about a couple, 2 or 3 kind of as we go. But today I just stuck with mother because we'll see how we do. Yes, Kristen, a very cool arrangement on the page. I just love it. So I'm really excited and I'm just racing. So let's just start with reading it. So we have the title up here at the top. And then underneath it says, the great mother, the feminine, the source, right? So there are different ways that we can frame that. And then on the left margin, it says, the mother is part of the trifecta Maiden, Mother, Crone. Because of the relationship between them, take special note when these cards appear in one reading. So if you are working on a really big spread or even 3 cards, and let's say you just happen to draw those 2 or those 3, there's notes like that, pay attention to this pairing or this trifecta. Yes, this book is amazing. It's really like flexy and it just feels really nice. Mine has a big crease through it because this used to be in the big beanbag sort of thing that me and Max would hang out in every night while he had his bottle before he fell asleep. And I think I mentioned before, I read this whole book before I even cracked open the cards because during that phase of my life, I had even less time to myself than I do now. So I would hold this book and hold my little Max and read the book in really dim light. My leg's already falling asleep. Hold on. So, which was great, but then it also meant that when Max would get up in the morning and we'd be playing in his room, this would sometimes be in the way of things. And so it fell down behind the beanbag and he was doing gymnastic tricks and it bent the cover. So mine's kind of creasy, but this is a very nice, it's not hardcover, but it's, I don't know, I would call it like a smooth matte. And it feels really nice. And like the cover overhangs the pages a little bit. And I just love all those nerdy book notes. So pay attention to the trifectas when they come up. That's a note. The other margin says, notice how the mother archetype is expressed in nature. This is perhaps the most balanced and benevolent form of the mother's grace. At the bottom, for each card, we have when light, when dark, and go deeper. So for each card, she gives like an extra reference, right? A poem or a story or a work of art or something like that, which I think is also really cool. You could spend so much time with this book, just in case you're looking for something like that. So when light, glowing, generative, creative, nurturing. When dark, dim, exhausted, controlling, limiting. That just rings so true. And then for go deeper, read Tao Te Ching, Chapter 1, and imagine the mother of 10,000 things. So, extra things for you to dive into, should you feel so inclined. So, here's the main bit. We begin our archetypal story with the mother's love. Through her sensual, fertile, and life-giving energy, all creation takes form. Regardless of our birth story, each of our hearts beat for the first time in the warm womb of the mother, where she offered resources from her body for the building of our own. Yet her tale is not so simple, as the mother, especially on the earthly plane, contains both light and dark aspects of the feminine. With the best of intentions, the mother wraps her loving arms around her creations and begins to grip what she meant to set free. The mother both nurtures and prohibits growth. She gives, yet clings. She creates, yet restricts. Amid this complex energy, the mother holds the key to the eternal challenge of love. Okay, so there's that. And here's the card. So we have Roman numeral at the top and the title at the bottom. And we have what looks like a nest and maybe some like rope or snake imagery, right? You can't really fully tell in a lot of these, which I like because it can kind of morph from one thing to another. Or for me, like there's usually something that I can resonate with in these cards. And this right here sort of looks like a plant, like, what do I want to say? Like the bud of something kind of starting, but again, you can't really tell. But then in the middle, we have that pearl. To me, in general, what looks like a pearl in a nest, right? So there's that. Spirit Healing says, Mom keeps calling me. I'll be popping in and out for a few minutes. No problem at all. Yes, Kristen says, looks like a hand, right? There's this sort of, it's like I'll see something for a few seconds and then it changes to something else. Serpent, stones, pearl. And I saw Robin say, thinking about Mother's Day and who's up first, the mother, very often true. So here's our mother card. And since this one is part of one of the trifectas in the deck, I figured we would look at the maiden and the crone card too. So here we have the maiden, sort of matching my shirt that I almost took off because I felt like it was too bright for me. Bring it closer because it's, again, in some places difficult to tell. Really beautiful colors. We have this sort of like forest line, like this inverted. And to me, this feels very like body centric. Like I see a hand on a body. And we have a pink rose. I can't remember if I already said that. So because we're looking at this, I'm going to read that one as well. But let me show you the crone first, just so we can kind of get these visuals. And the crone. So again, the Roman numeral and the title and the image, and all of the cards are set up that way. So let's see. Now I don't have these pages marked, but we might as well read through them and see what we think, if I can find them. The mother, the maiden, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. Yeah, Candy, I really love this deck. She's not that far. Where did she go? Judge. Oh, and there's the crone already. So, the maiden. Okay. So keywords for the maiden: the virgin, the princess, the innocent. Hello, Diane. Ooh, Chris says all three have a hand, and there are themes with hands throughout this deck, and that's something I've been interested in as well. The left margin says, moving from the maiden to the mother is challenging, often leaving unresolved tensions between the two archetypes for years, if not a lifetime. The right margin says, do you long to be rescued by another or receive a kiss that brings you back to life? Be wary of waiting for a prince. Break the spell of your own life. I was thinking about that so much last night. Just that whole idea. So interesting. Again, when light, the maiden is curious, enchanting, sensual, full of vitality. When dark, she pretends, projects, denies, and fantasizes. And to go deeper, Persephone. I love Persephone. Alice, or any princess figures. Right, so it gives this different kind of idea. Regina says she has this, but have used it rarely. Excited for this series. Well, I'm so glad because there really is a lot to dive into. In the mother card, there's a pearl. I associate pearls with growth through discomfort. A pearl forms through the irritation of the oyster. That is beautiful and very fitting. So the maiden archetype is the epitome of innocent arousal, naive sensuality, and precarious purity. She is compelling and addictive because of her flawless and youthful glow. She's the first archetype in the trifecta of maiden, mother, crone. What? She's the first. Oh, because even though the mother is the first card, we're talking about the maiden growing into the mother archetype. Okay. See, we got to pay attention. Let's take a sip. Okay. I didn't bring my water because who needs that? She's the first archetype in the trifecta of maiden, mother, crone, and rightfully so because she has oh so much to learn. The maiden is perfectly positioned for trouble to come her way and subject her to a challenge that leads to the next phase of womanhood. She must grow up. I was thinking about all of this last night and this morning, so I guess maybe because I was thinking about the mother card and what we were going to talk about, and then semi-subconsciously I was thinking about all of this. I didn't connect it at the time, but it's just weird. She must grow up, yet hesitates at the threshold, enamored by the charms of youth. See, but I wasn't like that. I wanted to quickly get to motherhood, and that's not how it happened for me. But then I was thinking about the path of everything, all the different paths that got me there finally, right? The maiden represents the side of us that is riveted and curious, drawn to shadowy forests. That's true. Dark nights, as in KNIGHTS, also true. And taking just one taste of poisonous fruit, her magic is edgy and includes both shame and delight. Let yourself fall down the rabbit hole, young one. So there's our Alice reference. Oh, grit and bear it. Bear with. Mother bear. Great associations. Maiden, the here and now. Mother, the moment past. Crone, hindsight. Ooh. Yes, Chris, it is. It is grin and bear it. Robin was associating that to the pearl. Yeah. Okay. So there's our maiden, right? You can see how all these are tying together. Another thing I wanted to show about the format of the book. So when it says, she has oh so much to learn, that's in red font. I know you can't really see it, but that's in red font. And then your right margin is always in red. And so that's sort of like the action or the warning or the maybe the shadow aspect of it. It's not phrased that way, but that's what it sort of seems like. Oh, it's not always the right either. Sometimes it's the left. The hunter has the red note on the left. So I'm not sure what to call that distinction, but that's always there. And right there might be red font in the main paragraph, and then that sort of takes you over to whichever margin note makes sense for that. So I think that's cool. Okay. So here's our maiden card again. And then here's our crone. So we're going to read this one next. Okay. Let me find. Okay. The crone, the witch, the old woman, the sage. The crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, petty, day-to-day musings. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. The crone is the master of letting go and residing in what is. She rejects nothing. The crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, and the moon. When light, magic, clairvoyant, psychic, intuitive, wise. When dark, vindictive, bitter, isolated, ostracized. And to go deeper, Ohumavati, Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of Maiden Mother Crone. In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. That's huge. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. Okay. So, in discussing the mother, I think the relationship needs to be considered. Without the child, there wouldn't be the mother. So that's interesting because how literal are we being with mother and child, right? So we have many different types of mothering, many different types of caring for and nurturing, right? We might have these other relationships that are not literal motherhood, but that still create this environment that means responsibilities of motherhood fall to the person. Right. So we have Ishi. But yes, Robin, that's very interesting because we have the eternal child, we have the orphan, and different child representations in the deck too. And so that's why, and it threw me off when I was reading the maiden card because it says she's first in the trifecta, but maiden, mother, crone. I knew that in my brain, but because we just started with the mother card, right? And I thought about that too in the creation of this deck. There is a card called the womb. And I thought, well, maybe that should have been first. But there's just, and that's kind of why I went through the suits in the beginning to kind of frame it, because there are, of course, many ways it could have been done. Sitting in the center of the wheel, the crone energy. I saw Krista. Oh, I'm back a little bit. Okay, hold on. Regina says that that's interesting, although now I'm thinking of a modern self-care psychological practice of reparenting yourself, being your own mom to continue growing and healing. I think Kellyanne Maddox did a video about parenting yourself within the last couple of weeks. As she says, I think you can give birth to many a thing, projects and ideas. For example, mothering would therefore be associated with nurturing, yet it can be a male role too. Think seahorse. Oh, absolutely. And that reminds me, sidebar, Regina, when we were in Chris's live and someone was asking about, it was for Jen's reading, and we started talking astrology stuff, and you said, but listen to what Deanne says. No, wrong. I was up about this in the middle of the night because what you actually said is right by the book. with the ascendant or rising sign being the external, what we show to the world, you were right. And I was talking about the ascendant or the rising sign being what we become. And that's more of a thing that I don't want to say that I made it up, but when I used to read star charts for people a lot. And that was something that I always was drawn to. Well, I shouldn't say always. Based on where everything else fell in the chart, I would often say to the person, this is more about the path and this is who you're becoming. So some people will describe the ascendant as, this is all relative actually. Some people will describe the ascendant as the self that we show when we're meeting someone for the first time, like when we're at a social thing, when we're at a wedding and we meet someone, what is the face we put on? What is the mask we put on? And I don't think masks are a bad thing unless you're so into this one mask that nothing else is ever revealed. Masks are natural. It always makes me think about Kelly Fitzgerald talking about Lenormand houses. That, we act different in our grandmother's house than in our own house. We act different in the grocery store than we do in the dance studio or whatever. I'm just using my examples. So point being that I wanted to clarify that because the ascendant is who you're becoming is sort of a notion that I hold and that I find to be true when I'm doing chart readings, but it's not necessarily, if you Google that, that's not necessarily what you're going to find. What reminded me is Ishi talking about seahorses and men being nurturing and men fulfilling the motherhood role, which is all fine and possible and probable to me. And when I was looking up stuff about sun, moon, and rising signs, there was a site that said that moon sign information is not as important for men to know as it is for women to know. And that just set me right off a cliff because what? So your moon sign is about your emotional self, sometimes your hidden self, um, things that you desire and hold dear internally. Why would that not be as important for a man to find out? I just couldn't. Okay, so if you ever see anything about, moon sign or any of that stuff in astrology, like being more important for one sex or gender over the other, please just ignore that and close the whole page and send me a message and I'll send you something that's actually good. Okay? Okay. Tangent, but important. And I think it relates to this motherhood discussion that really pissed me off. Kristen, the number is 13. That is death in tarot. Love that. See, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make all these associations. The holistic psychologist has talked about reparenting as well, duality, like light and dark, and actually how things are. Yeah, Regina, what? I would have been so mad. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I thought, what's an easy way that I can explain this to people? Because it is kind of confusing, even when you look up those short descriptions, because the sun sign is often referred to as the external self, what you show to others. So then the ascendant is also described that way sometimes. But I guess it's like, I like to think of your sun sign as your core, as your essence. The moon sign as the internal. I think about the moon card in tarot, and I tend to think of that really positively. So that association may not work for you, but the moon card or the moon sign is that internal, the emotional response or reaction to things. And this is work I need to do, but my moon sign is Aries, and I definitely respond emotionally in an Aries fashion, like on fire and moving forward really fast, and sometimes just not really. It's like the opposite of temperance, right? My fiery Aries is my emotional response, and that's not the greatest thing all the time. Candy, yes. Ascendant is the same as rising. Um, Cat's out of the bag. We're actually emotionless robots. We just pretend so you think we are cool. Right? No, Chris, I was so mad. I was like, okay, I could write a thesis about why in general, and not many of you are exceptions, but um, that men might need that more. Maybe they need to explore the moon sign even more than a woman does. Because what? And Kristen says, oh, Simon, at my folks for Mother's Day, but wanted to jump on and say hi. Hello, thank you so much. I just realized today that it was Mother's Day there, and I did a little ramble about that in the beginning. Thank you so much for saying hi, and say hi to your mom and everyone for us. It honestly sounds all like synonyms for me. Emotions are part of my essence. Kristen, absolutely. It's very much once you get into astrology, you find those little subtleties, just like in tarot, right? I could say that all tarot cards are about spiritual growth to me, right? I could say that. So it's all of those aspects, the core self, the emotional self, the internal, the external, those are all present in every aspect, in every house, in every sign, but it's just like percentages, right? Like this is a little higher, and this aesthetic is a little more important to me because X, Y, and Z. And, you know, does that make sense? Like, depending on where things fall, it's just going to bump it up a little bit. So we all have these things, and some of it can sound a lot like, you're kind of splitting the difference. Chris says, my moon is Leo. My moon is Leo, so even if I wanted to hide it, it would burst out of the house singing, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Yes. Yes, Chris. Yes, happy Mother's Day to Val. Nancy says her sun is in Taurus, moon in Aries, ascendant in Scorpio. I'm Aries moon, Nancy. I might need to start a support club for Aries moon because that's just a lot of the work I have to do in my life. Candy, do I offer birth chart services? I do. I only hesitate because it has been a while since I have done that, but I'm really kind of itching to get back to that. Diane, equanimity, how things are. To me, the Three of Swords has duality, your story, my story, and the equanimity of the truth. Ooh, look at that. She said, thank you, Chris, as well as who? So there was a little tangent about feminine, masculine, moon signs, and I think these are all, for me especially, talking about my moon sign relates to this whole motherhood thing because my mom is an Aries. Regina, Aries rising, Pisces, Aquarius cusp, Gemini moon, Capricorn midheaven. Oh, look at you with the midheaven. I am actually Virgo, Libra cusp. I'm like within the 3 days. So that is a thing I don't mention a lot, but maybe I should because I think it really applies. I found out the other day my rising is Leo, sun in Sagittarius. Oh, I could see that, Candy. See, because I would argue that you are coming into your Leo-ness, right? I don't know a lot about you. I know a little bit about you, but that makes so much sense to me. And I, again, include that in my reading. So I don't know. I know this has become Astrology Live. I'm sorry, Kristen. Yes, Candy is a fiery lady. And you know what? I tend to feel like Sagittarius people are just so true to all of their signs, if that makes sense. I should just stop saying it. Every time Candy says something, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense for you. but it really does. That's how I feel. Oh, and Kristen says no, she loves it. So we don't have to make this all about my motherhood experience of me and my mom and my grandma and whoever, but my mom is an Aries, and we always love each other, and we've never had a falling out or like a break or anything like that. I'm very lucky and grateful for the relationship I have with my mom, but we will get into it sometimes, and then it just falls right back to not. She's like, but you're so beautiful and I love you, and let's just forget about this, because we have like a lot of different views. We just butt heads sometimes, and that has been a struggle. And she was the same way with my grandma, but still so very close. So we've had this really, all three of us had this really sort of like back and forth relationship. But like me to my grandma was like always totally fine. Like my grandma to my mom and my mom to me, there was just always this kind of like rubbing the wrong way. I don't want to say always. Like 95% of the time, it was like magical and there are no problems and there's no distress. But when it blows up, it blows up. So thinking about all of this, hello, Jackie. So for me, this all relates. And if the astrology speak is throwing you off, I apologize. I promise we won't do this every time. So with our trifecta that we're thinking about here, what do you all feel about anything that was said in the book? Do you agree with the framework that Kim Krans gives for this mother card, that basically the mother creates that she is meant to set free? What's that part? That's what I loved. My mom and sister Aries, and I'm just, so it's a lot of fire in the family dynamic. Oh, it's crazy. Chris says it's a bonfire, right? Sometimes it's just a lot. Julianne Victoria is going to do my Vedic chart. We'll see if it resonates more than the Western astrology chart. Very good idea to get all of those different viewpoints, I think. She says part of her meditation practice, breathe with the sticky, gooey hand of the toddler holding yours, invite them to sit with you. That's very deep and helpful and true. This morning, Kristen says, it rings true for me. It is unfortunate for people. Let me put this up here. It's unfortunate for people who have had abusive mothers often can't connect to such archetypes. Right. So let's talk about that. If anything anyone wants to share is fine. Anything you don't want to share, also fine. Diane said, Mom passed, but still guides me in spirit. When I'm down, I think of what she would say to me to bring me out of the gloom. She was all about self-care. This is all about self-care and self-mothering. Yes, absolutely love that. And I will often, my grandma's only been passed for a few months, but I will often think about her and relating to what Ishi said about meditating, holding the sticky hand of the toddler and meditating, making that a Zen moment. My grandmother so often said, oh, that'll be fine. Like she just let us do almost anything that we wanted. And she was not a fiery, reactive person. She just, I don't want to say she didn't care, but she was detached enough. She was really good at letting us go, right? She was very warm and nurturing, but we would be all day just doing whatever we wanted to do. You could not shake her, right? And I want more of that. And so I understand that me trying and me wanting and me trying to grab that kind of energy is creating a resistance to it. Okay. I'm one of those people. That's what I believe. I can't try so hard because then the weight of that expectation is on me. And then when something happens, I snap because I wasn't able to do it the right way. I wasn't able to meet that goal that I set for myself. And so that is what makes it all the harder for me. So I need to be more just instead of trying to do something, it helps me to visualize just kind of sinking back away from it and just letting the thing flow by, letting the thing happen. Um, and yes, very good point, Kristen. Part of what I wanted to bring up for this archetype and for all of the others, that there are going to be certain archetypes that are prevalent for some of us in our life and certain ones that are going to seem very foreign, um, or familiar, but that we can't relate well to it. So part of this can be about how I invite any of you who feel so inclined to think about the different archetypes that maybe you're not able to relate well to, and making that your own in some way if you so choose. And I'm making a bit of a jump here, Kristen, but I could only assume that part of your initial aversion to the Empress card being depicted in certain ways, it's like, well, I don't want to work with that because that doesn't relate. And I think that's fine. I say choose what you want and what makes sense to you. And if there are triggers or shadow work or anything that you feel like sitting with, then you take that on yourself in your own time as you would like to. But another note about the Empress, traditionally she's that warrior, um, and not the mother of the tarot, right? Again, I believe traditionally, and for me, I would see Queen Cups more as that energy. So in short, some of these are going to be problematic, but I think that's part of working through this. Regina says, it's interesting to think about this for me. I'm not a mom, but I definitely have some mama bear in me in some situations. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kristen says, it's a great card when reading for others, but self-work, yes, I need to work with it. Um, and that's just, that we all have a spot or two or three or five that we need to work through. And I think that's why many people are drawn to the tarot. I was drawn to it not so much in seeking a solution to a problem, um, but in being kind of wrapped up in the mysticism of it. And so that's how I came to tarot. But now, as I progressed through my life, I mean, I was young, so not that I didn't have problems then, but they were different, right? It was about being in love and thinking I might just die of it, right? So it's definitely a different life that I'm living now. But again, I think that's why it's so great. Tarot grows with you. Chris says, when I think about my parents growing up, I can relate both mother and father archetypes to both my parents, like they're both a mix of both. And that's really awesome, I think, because I don't know, I tend to opt for balance um, when I can. And I think that probably is part of the reason why you're so awesome, having that kind of mix. Yes, traditionally she is more of an Empress Dowager. I don't know what that last word is. Kristen's so damn smart. Can hardly handle it. You come across as a mix of both. Diane is saying to Chris, yes, I agree. That's what I was trying to spit out. She says, my mom wore the pants and was the disciplinarian because dad worked shifts and he doted when at home, which is not to say she wasn't and he couldn't. Well, not to give value judgments, but I would say that that's better than dad being exhausted and coming home and snapping at everyone. So, and it is interesting how these things work out, right? As she's saying, dad was working a lot, and it's just, you have to do what you can with what you have with where you are, right? There's no ideal situation that plays out in life, right? There might be some that are pretty close. There might be some that are pretty close. I've had ideal phases of my life. So I'm sure that um, that sounds terrible. Not like my current life is not ideal, but do you know what I mean? I'm constantly, I'll say this for myself. I think I'm doing okay because I'm aware of everything and I want to just like tweak and adjust. And I think sometimes I'm so aware of like psychologically um, the effects of what I say and what I do, like what a lasting impact those would have. So even when I react instead of respond, I, and this helps me so much. So thank you for letting me take this over because I will think about this later in my life when I'm out there living my life. And it will help me to remember and calm down and look out the window and take a deep breath. So, my point is, when I make mistakes and when I do things that I'm not happy about, I have a conversation later with my son and I say, I'm really sorry I got upset earlier. What happened was this thing made me really upset and I needed to calm down and take some deep breaths and I'm really sorry that I was upset and that I upset you. And we hold hands and we talk to each other. And I know that that is sinking in and that that's going through somewhere because the other day he came up to me and said, Mom, it's okay to feel sad, right? Which I mentioned in Jilly's chat yesterday. It's okay to feel sad. Or Friday, we were getting ready to go see our friends. And I said, buddy, I'm like, I'm getting kind of frustrated. Can you please go play? And he came closer to me in that moment, which was like, not what I asked you to do, please. But he's 3. So like, what am I? And I know all of this. He came closer and he said, Mom, I think you need to take some deep breaths. So that helped me. And I thought, if you get mad right now, instead of listen to your child and do what he says and take deep breaths, like I don't have in the moment, sometimes I do, but I don't have that, oh, he's 3, he's not the boss. No, please tell me to take deep breaths. And so I stopped and I got down on the floor with him and I took deep breaths. So I feel like I'm doing sort of okay because I'm not above listening to my child and following directions that he gives to me. Chris the Empresser. That is beautiful. You can only do the best with the tools that you have at any one time. Fool to magician, maiden to mother, mother to crone. Beautiful. Chris says, you guys are all so sweet. I'm just a big doofus with a love for cards and an even fiercer love for you lot. Oh, Chris, you're amazing. Max is a wise little soul. Robin says, great story. I'm glad that is great. Because I'm not going to turn these all into, let's put this up here. Let's make him blushy. Yeah, Kristen, isn't he one of the best people you've ever met? I will second that. Cheers to Chris. Sip, sip. That was like the perfect swig too. So, yes, let me bring this back to the book because it does remind me of that. And when I first read The Mother, right, I read through the entire intro. So it was probably a few days of holding Max, feeding him his bottle, before I got to the mother page, but that was the first one. So when I read this paragraph on the mother, I was holding my probably like 1-year-old. I'm just looking at my Savannah. She's trying to break in my room. and she can open the doors upstairs. She hasn't opened this one yet, but anyway. um, when I read The Mother, I was holding my tiny, I mean, he wasn't super tiny. He was probably like 6 months old or something. I was holding my little Max, so like dewy little sleepy forehead Max. And I read this part about the mother both nurtures and prohibits growth. She gives yet clings. She creates yet restricts. And when I read the mother both nurtures and prohibits growth, I just was like sobbing, holding him while he was sleeping. And I was like, shit, I'm like, that's true. I'm going to do that. I'm going to prohibit his growth. And you can imagine, right? Like small hours of the morning crying about, me as a first time mom sitting in the dark trying to read this book by a little star lamp. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to ruin him, right? Like that's what I felt like. Give me all the feels. Repressing moon sign big time right now. Chris. Okay, do you want me to take it down? Oh, Kristen, I'm sorry. But this helped me so much. So even though it kind of was like a punch in the gut, I was like, oh, damn it. Like, because it's an archetype. I'm like, I can't get away from it. It's just the truth. But we can be aware, and I don't think these things are so set that we can't work with them, right? And that's the point of this for me, working through the different archetypes to see how we can smooth the edges of some of them, right? If we don't like certain archetypes, why is that? And can we take a little bit of that power away? Can we sink into the energy instead of resisting it, right? It's, to me, it's the same as people say, sit with your feelings, which Jilly often mentions. It's that same sort of thing. Sit with this feeling of, why am I repulsed by this thing? Or why does this part seem so difficult to me? And just baby steps and how you can change that. Yes, take my face down. Kristen. Terrible. Your face is beautiful. Here, Robin, everybody hug yourselves now, especially if there's no one else there to do it. A bit of that motherness needed. Yes. So, the other part I wanted to just repeat because I love it so much. Just a joke. Well, no one be joking in here because I'll just love on you extra, which is fine. Parents are raising adults, not children. See, here we go again with the, which came first. So we can wrap this up in a few. But thank you all for being here on this. For some of you, a happy Mother's Day. And again, for me, because today due dates are whatever, but this again was supposed to be my due date for our second baby that we never came home with. So I just wanted to mark it with something kind of special, and it just happened to be talking about the mother card. So there's that. Thank you all for starting this with me today. The mother nurturer, as in a gardener, encourages growth with the baby biofeeds and can also be an overexuberant pruner. Yes, these things relate across the board. So the other part of this, it all resonates with me, but with the best of intentions, the mother wraps her loving arms around her creations and begins to grip what she meant to set free. That really poetic. The whole thing's poetic, but to me, that's the part that really sticks. So if you have other thoughts about this, feel free to message me. I'm going to be journaling about all of these after the fact. So if you have other ideas and you want to shoot me a message or leave a comment or anything, please do that because I'm going to be working with this card for the week now, up until next Sunday. So, oh my gosh, I want to go get a coffee, but I won't because I don't want to miss a second of this. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to set you all free now, right? The things I meant to set free. So yes, please share these things. We can definitely keep the conversation going. The other thing I'm not forgetting, but what we were going to do is choose a color for the back each week. And this week would be these 3 cards. So if you have ideas about what colors these should be, leave a comment. I didn't forget, but first off, I don't have colored pencils, which is what I originally thought I was going to use, but this is it's too smooth for a colored pencil, I think. I think it would actually be okay taking a marker. And if I ruin this, I don't mind buying another one, so it's not that big a deal. So I just don't have the correct tools, I think, to use unless someone else has this. I think Hen said that she had it. If anyone else has this and you think I can put marker on the back of this, please let me know. So that's the thing we need to do is decide what colors these are going to be because I wanted to mod it with you all. Okay. Maiden green, mother pink, crone dark blue. Sakura glaze markers. I don't even know what that is, but okay, Diane, let me know. We will figure this out. I'll take notes on all the color suggestions that you're giving right now and put that in my journal. Chris says, I've made him want to get this and he was never drawn to it. It's really so awesome. It's so awesome. The book is beautiful. I love the cards. You should do it. Diana's an artist. She would know. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I'll buy those. So that was the other piece of this. Discuss the card, color the backs, and we will catch up on coloring next week. Yeah, see? Jen is voting for it too. You should it's so... I love the writing. It feels like Marielle book to me. And I love it. And it's just very deep and it gets me, but it's simple. It's simply put, blah, blah, blah. I think you would love it. Okay. Are we good, loves? Should we go? I don't ever want to leave you, but I have to set you free because otherwise you'll just be stunted and terrible. It's the comic card, the one with the cat that's always repelled me, but maybe I could work with it. Okay, no, almost everyone feels like that. Jackie, this is the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. And yes, the comic card is absolutely, in my opinion, terrible. Okay, it's terrible. But yeah, everything else is amazing. And if you want to see someone's pure reaction to the comic card, go check out Samantha Menzo. Is she Sammy Menzo? No, I think it's Samantha Menzo. Watch her walkthrough of it because when she gets to that card, she just absolutely loses it, like in a hysterical laugh, cry sort of thing. So I'm not sure about the glaze pens. I will try them. I can send you some pens to try. DM me your address. Oh my gosh, you are so sweet. Yeah, no, the comic card. Yeah, no, I'm so Midwest. Let's take a sip for the Midwest. Okay. The comic card is just one card. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Robin says, push us out of the nest. Did everyone see Jamie's post the other day about like the polar bear, the mom and the baby, and I don't know what else? Like 3 mom and babies all together, like, I'll stay with you until you're ready to go, and I will keep you warm until you know, you can fend for yourself and all this. And then there's a bird kicking the baby out of the nest, and it's like, fly, bitch. That's what we have to do sometimes. So I'm sorry to give you that sort of crass message on UK Mother's Day. But yes, Kristen, I've thought about covering it up too, because it doesn't look like the comic to me, but when you read it, it kind of makes sense. But it looks like some kind of like psychotic serial killer cat to me, is what it looks like. Jen loves it. Oh, God. Okay. No. There is no hero heroine card. She mentions this in the introduction. This book is so good. Okay. All right. Oh, do you want to see the psycho cat? And then we'll go. See, this is it. I don't let you go. Where the do you want to see it? You want to ruin the surprise of the comic card? See, I wouldn't do this with other cards. That's how you know I don't care for it, because I don't care about ruining the surprise. I'm not showing you all the gorgeous ones, though. You have to wait. You have to come back to see, just like your mothers. You have to go visit them, even though you don't want to. You have to come see me next Sunday to see the other cards. And then I'll show you Psycho Cat, and then we can go, okay? Oh, it's hard for me not to read them out, too, and I don't want to. But they're beautiful, and you can't see them. Oh, there it is. Oh, Lord. Okay. Whew. Brace yourselves. It's scary. Serial killer cat. The comic. Kristen, but let me get really close. Oh, I'm shaky here. Y'all, I painted my nails the other day. Look at me. God, I'm fancy. Okay, look. Look how the one eye and like the weirdo mask is on it. Like it's wearing the skin of another cat. Oh, this is why, because I have like Hannibal brain. So it doesn't, oh, it puts the lotion in the basket like this. That's why. I want to take you to a gay bar. I love the gay bar. Damn, it's been a really long. Who said that? Did someone say that? I don't have to. You can't make me. We haven't seen eye to eye in a while. Still love her though. What the actual fuck is that card? What are we talking about the gay bar? Because now that's what I want to do. But you know what I should find is my old pictures being all done up at the gay bar. I don't know what we're talking about, but oh, it's a song with a bunch of wacky cats. Well, I don't know about that. But there are some stellar pictures of me with like crazy fishnets and like red hair that I should dig out. In just the tiniest little skirt. But anyway. Okay, so there's the comic that I showed you for like 5 minutes. Okay. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, thank you, Diane. They're all sparkly and beautiful. I love them too. Having my nails painted really makes me feel like I'm in control of my life. Okay. I love you all a lot. Take your medicine, drink your water, show your pictures all done up at the gay bar, please. Oh, yes. I'll have to dig for a little bit, but I will do that. Okay. I love you all a lot. Bless you. Was that Ryan? Oh, yes, it was. I don't even hear it because I'm just in here living my life. Oh my gosh. Okay. Drink your water, take your meds, get some sunshine. If you are able, read a book, do something to parent yourself today. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you next Sunday for the father card, and I will have it scheduled, and we will be super formal like we always are. You're very welcome. Thank you. And until next time, love you lots.